is Mind Over Matter? Is that the newest single that you guys have out?
Actually, we're Apathy Nation. We just released that one,
Okay.
and has done better than any of the other singles so far.
Mm.
Apathy's I didn't look at the numbers, but we're like over 9,000, almost to 10K on
Yeah,
streams on Apathy.
Wow.
yeah.
We released it
Apathy right now is at like
Christmas.
9,136 streams,
That's
which
great.
has been done now within a matter of 9 days, which
Yeah, I like that.
Congratulations.
Oh,
That's
thanks,
appreciate
man.
that.
Yeah, and I don't actually, I feel bad now because I don't think I've actually heard this one. That I did hear Mind Over Matter and the other ones. Can we play a couple seconds of this and put
Absolutely,
it out
dude.
there
Yeah.
for the people?
Apathy nation, we can't feel a thing. Story of a time on display and showing signs of hell to pay. I'm another burnout on a judgment day. But goddamn, I'm happy that I woke up next to you. Although we found a poor excuse to play a game of fools versus fools. What kind of hurricane is this? A feeling of dealing with darkness, and I wake up so depressed.
For me, dude, this brings it back to like the Clash and like, old school punk, some of the European punk and just the great music where it wasn't necessarily always about the most production or the most whatever. It's about the feel and the
Hmm.
sound. And you got Nick and Donald on here. I really feel like you couldn't have gotten a better duo to kind of add to the bass and the drums and stuff.
Yeah,
Agreed on that one, buddy.
I definitely say that we got very fortunate when we produced this first album with Howie and Donald and all and the camp from Ballyhoo. We got very fortunate, which obviously that stemmed from our work with Howie on La Tour de Vor 3,
Mhm.
building into 4 and 5 as we moved along. So being able to take that from that perspective and then going into the studio and being able to start working with Russ on the acoustic side of it, and then it just obviously it started building into what it had become. So having Donald and obviously Nick alone was a godsend. It really developed the music into, because like I said, we spent a couple of years trying to develop this first album, and it didn't come out the first time around like Russ and I was expecting
Mhm.
the sound to be. So I wanted to take the next step up for him and myself and try to really get it into somebody's hands that was going to turn it into that rock, that punk rock sound, that style of what Russ and I are used to listening to growing
Mhm.
up. So there's a lot of odes in there to a lot of, you know, 80s and 90s, like, punk bands and even modern punk, and not even just punk. You got the pop rock in there, you got the pop
Mhm.
punk in there, you got the post rock, and then you got a lot of like, there's guitar riffs in there and stuff that take you back to like styles of like the early 90s, like when grunge was still around. So being able to keep it simple and not so detailed has been something that has worked out for Russ and I so far with the music, because it is about the feel.
Mhm.
Russ writes a lot of feel good lyrics, and so the music, between what he does on his personal Russ Baum craft with the acoustic to what he does and with what him and I do in the derivative, the full band, being able to keep the styles of what we like into the genres of that music and keeping it simple is definitely a mainstay for what Russ and I are throwing out there to the people.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. I obviously thanks for the compliments, Chris. I appreciate what
You're
you're saying
very
there about
welcome, Russ.
songwriting. The yeah, I mean it's pretty wild. I mean, Meager Kings was just really because this was our you didn't mention this, but it was our third attempt to create this album,
Wow.
kind of being the final attempt, and each attempt took over a year. To get from beginning to concept to we had completed this entire album in about like a 14 15 month period with a different producer, and we had brought it on tour with us on the Tour de War 3, and we were feeling it, we thought, and we still like the music and we still feel the music, but it wasn't quite where we needed. And
Mhm.
that's actually how the conversation came about, because we played it in the tour van like 4 a.m. in the morning, everybody's asleep, Howie's up front, and I think Chris threw it on and was like, here's our music. Like, what do you think? I don't know if we're quite there yet with it." And Howie heard it, and he's like, let me have this. He's like, I really like this, but we need to make it different and better than what you guys got. You guys got something
Mm-hmm.
good here, and that really initiated that whole conversation. And once again, another Ballyhoo University moment of
Mhm.
all that.
Right.
So but man, and we got in the studio, and we had a few artists, like a few drummers, a few bass players that we were getting along with and knew, and we were trying to make have kind of really a thrown together band that at this point was just going to still be just bomb in the band,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And once we got out to Baltimore and started really developing, and all of our musicians actually ended up falling through for one reason or another. And Howie was like, "Well, we're here. I'll call Donald and Nick, see if they're in," and they were in, and that was it, you know. I feel bad we didn't reach out to Scott.
Yeah.
It's like, or Howie laid down some keyboards in Mind Over Matter, and
Right.
you know, it was like, we're missing one piece.
Did you guys also get JR on some of your songs?
Yeah,
Dude.
Yeah, we did.
So we got
Which was
OG.
that was pretty cool too, because he was actually the first one that came into the studio, and we kind of brought him back out of the we brought him out of the woodwork, brought him out of the closet,
Mm-hmm.
brought him back out to dust the dustiness off his fingers, and he enjoyed it. We loved it. He did great, and he went in there and laid down, I think, what did he do, 2 or 3 of those songs?
Holy Ghost, and I think Deja Vu, maybe.
There was one more, I think.
And then it was Cannonball.
Yep.
He is the reason I got into Ballyhoo. I mean, he is an incredible bass player. I mean, there really isn't anyone better. And I think Nick was telling me that for a while he was playing drums for a band. And I'm like, and he was like, dude, does this band know that you're an amazing bass player? Too. He's just so talented and such a sweetheart. And really, I miss seeing him, around as much. But